Hey guys, welcome back to Year of the Full Moon. We're on episode 13 now, and this is going to be airing sometime in June, but we're recording this pretty much right after like a large gap in us watching the Puppet Masters, kind of like was this whole coronavirus thing going on.
Yeah, we gotta be prepared.
Yeah, we gotta take some precautions.
Like gas mask.
So
I don't want to infect any of you guys.
So, and for this Puppet Master, we reviewed a movie that I guess probably we shouldn't have reviewed. I don't think it deserved to be watched.
I don't think it was necessarily needed for this, but you know, why the hell not?
Yeah, so this is kind of like a bonus movie, I guess, because the movie's called Totem. It came out in 1999. Now, it was based on the name of the totems from Puppet Master 4 and 5, which are kind of like those like Egyptian demons that they fought during that weird arc.
This movie had nothing to do with that, by the way.
And they were like Native American, like spirit demons.
Well, I almost need somebody that knew what was going on to explain me the plot. The plot, everything was so contrived. Like, I don't know what happened. I notice a lot with these movies. I'm watching it and I'm like, I'm 45 minutes in. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't even know who the main characters are. I don't know their names. I didn't know any of their names.
Oh, and the movie's over now. Okay, then.
This one was only, what was it, an hour and 7 minutes
was
total?
67 minutes long.
Yeah, and, but like, they padded the intro.
4.5 minutes.
Yeah, it was like
intro credits.
4 minutes and 36 seconds, so about 4.5 minutes. And then, I forget, what was at the end? The end credits were like...
It was 5 minutes of end credits.
5 minutes, so almost 10 minutes of padding.
So if you take out the credits, it's less than an hour long.
Yeah, it feels like a movie. Like, if it was a normal movie, it would have been longer. But it threw you into it right after the credits, and it felt like you're the beginning of a second act of a 3-act movie. It felt like it threw you in a quarter of the way into the movie, and you're just like,
we only got like 2 acts of a movie.
It's disorienting. You're thrown in there, and you're like, what is going on? I have no idea what's going on. Which was me the entire movie.
And it was like a 60-minute movie, so
it had to move fast.
It was like 2 acts, so it was like 30 minutes an act. So if they would have just had 30 more minutes, it would have been a normal length movie and would have made more sense.
I don't even get the plot personally. It was like they all got brought there.
So the movie starts with all these people randomly showing up at like some cabin in the woods, and there's like some force brought them there, and they find out it's like this weird stone totem in a random graveyard. Speaking of, there's only 2 locations in the movie: the cabin and the graveyard.
If you've watched the other ones, you know I've been kind of critical when their movies have like one set. I get it. Even with our movies, we have multiple sets. It's not the hardest thing to do.
No.
But it just like it was better than like Demonic Toys, in which it was like one set and they just put boxes around to make it look like a warehouse. So it was better than that. I mean, the 2 sets were kind of. I mean, it was the cabin and it was outside. Those are the 2.
Honestly, that was it, and it was.
There was a lot of just weird like. Like, the one guy is supposed to be part Native American, even though he doesn't look it. He tries to do an accent that sounded Italian, more Italian to me. And it was jarring, because I'm like, I wonder if this is an actor that has an accent. And he's just trying to...
No. But Video Zone, he did not have an accent.
Yeah, we watched the Video Zone. No accent, so this was him trying to be Native American, which... Just heard a gunshot outside, that's cool. But it was kind of jarring, because it was like... do you think that's what Native Americans sound like? No. It was kind of jarring in that way. And like he's talking about how like his tribe's from the there's a totem there, and they're like, oh hey dude, who's like, what's this?
You're a Native American, you should know what this is.
And he's just like, oh, I'm from like the plains. They don't have wood to make totems and stuff. And then it's like, but then he's explaining stuff, and it's like, how do you know that if your tribe's from like the plains?
Yeah,
and this is like obviously not the plains.
One of the girls gets like possessed kind of, and
And
starts
she's
like speaking in a Native American
Native
language
American
from that
language.
area, but he understands it.
And he's like translating. It's like, but wait, that's not how language. Another gunshot. That's not how language works. Okay, it was just like there's a lot of jarring stuff in that. Like,
yeah, the plot just kind of didn't make much sense to start with, and
and like the actual totems, the dolls they used for the totems weren't great. There was actually a scene where they come through a window and you see the strings or whatever.
3 times you see, like, you blatantly see the strings being
and
used to work it.
How
and
they try to
strings.
get around that by doing just like strobe lights. So you quick cuts with strobe lights. So even when you see them, there's a
lot
strobe light.
Fog.
Like fog that's
and
disorienting.
So
dark fog and strobe lights. So even if it's like a quick 2-second shot, there's a strobe light in the middle. So it's trying to distract you because there's no articulation of the mouth, or really the arms are just kind of like this. And it just felt like, what the hell's going on?
And this is a company that made Puppet Master, who did great puppet effects.
The puppet effects in actually a lot of their movies are really good. This
one didn't have.
Obviously, this one's budget you could tell was low.
Much.
And then there was a
lower.
subplot in which it goes to all this obviously stock footage of knights going to battle, fighting over a castle. Which the stock footage, I guarantee you, when that was shot, probably 30 years before this came out, it was definitely an older movie. I've been trying to figure out what movie it's from. I don't know, because it looked kind of cool, and I'm like, that probably cost more than this entire movie.
Yep, that those just
to arm everybody to get the stuff made for them. But
why were there knights fighting in that flashback when it was a Native American?
And
it was at a castle,
and they were talking about war stuff. War chief and something. I'm like, are they trying to say these are Native Americans? Because we're not Mormons here. We don't think this type of stuff happened, and we science. But it was just sorry Mormons. It was like, what? And then it just
you have no words to say about this.
And then it stopped, and you're like, and it didn't explain it. I'm sure the guy talking during it explained something, but it made no sense to me.
No, I didn't get it.
And then
the main plot is that the people who were sent here, the totem kind of brought them here, and there's 6 of them. 3 of them by the end of the night are gonna kill the other 3 by being possessed, and it was some
isn't
weird
it each time they kill one, a totem comes to life?
Yeah, and
it's weird, and it made no sense, and then very end of the movie, freaking zombies.
Oh yeah, zombies show up.
Yeah, they're running
talking
away,
about zombies at all.
And then zombies come out and grabbing them, and it's like, what?
Why?
It was just
where?
Did they shoot another movie and they decided just to mash them together? It's not like Raising the Dead came up at all.
No, I would say it was this movie. There's parts of it it wasn't bad, but it was the most disposable thing I've seen yet by Full Moon. And I know they probably have much more disposable movies.
I'm sure the stuff we're not going to watch, there's worse. And I actually liked it better than I like the Demonic Toys or Doll Man versus Demonic Toys. Those are my 2 most hated things.
But this one I didn't care.
It was forgettable. I will not remember any of it. I don't even think they made an effort for them to have the audience learn the names of each person. That's why they cut out the whole first act, essentially. Oh, and I read on IMDb that they shot it in 4 days. That explains a lot.
That's about right.
That explains a lot.
The director did not want to film it.
Yeah, and I read that on IMDb.
At all.
He was contractually obligated to do this movie, to do another movie he wanted to do.
Academy, I believe.
And IMDb, it said he really did not like the movie, and he was very unhappy with how it turned out. If you don't want to make the movie and you're made to, that never works out. Most of the movies that don't do good and have a director that didn't want to do it turn out bad.
It's not going to be good. No, because if he doesn't care, then the movie's going to look like you don't care. The movie looks like you don't care.
If he cared and he saw that you could see strings at one point, he probably would have said, we're reshooting that, or we're working around it somehow. No, they just left it in there, and I get it, because if I
was shot in 4 days, they didn't have time, I guess, to go back and fix it. But
I didn't read the budget. I'm sure we can see the budget online. I'm sure it was small.
It must have been very small. One good thing is they didn't use a lot of CGI. There wasn't really any. There was
they did the composite of the negative. That was big in I think starting in the was that a cannon that went off?
What was that?
Okay, apparently there's a Civil War reenactment going on.
So ignore that. Focus on us.
If a cannonball comes through here, But it was I lost my train. No, it was what was I talking about? There was the
the weird like lightning effects.
yeah, it
that
was
they
like I was trying to think
post-production put
I
into
honestly
movies.
think that was like something in the late 70s it kind of started into the 90s. I would say even to like
until CGI
99,
became a thing.
because it was usually just blue or this case a lot of green, but I actually always like those effects.
Yeah, they're cheesy.
There's
fun.
times they're cheesy and I enjoy them because I think even like Raiders of the Lost Ark did that.
Yeah,
at the
that
end,
kind
and
of stuff.
I thought it was cool. And we brought this up so many times. I like when a movie does more animatronics or like even
This is not animatronic. This is
or even like
bad puppets.
claymation or any of
Which
that
is cool,
stuff.
yeah.
Practical effects. Like if you use practical effects and they're good, they'll land and they'll age better. You do, even if they're not good, they'll still not age horribly. Bad CGI ages like. There's movies I've seen that I thought CGI was good when in the early 2000s when I was little. That then it was like,
Oh no, that was bad. That was like nightmare-inducing.
Godzilla. I haven't watched it since.
Don't.
I was little. Sean has told me it's awful.
Don't.
I love that freaking movie, but I'm afraid to watch it again because it might kill my
Destroy your
childhood. But because I watched it so much as a kid, but so this movie it didn't use CGI,
But the effects were bad.
but it was at a time when CGI was expensive to use, and now it's like totally different. Now everybody that uses CGI because they can't afford to do practical effects. Back then, people used practical effects because they couldn't afford CGI. It's crazy, but like we said, the practical effects. It was like when you buy a GI Joe, instead of like articulation everywhere, it's like GI Joe. You move your arms like this.
Real
like
American hero.
We've all been like that. Like I have Star Wars from a kid where it's like some were like bendy, others were like, which one did I like playing with more? The articulated one.
And it looks bad.
In a lot of their movies, I think we even said this with when Totem showed up in was it Puppet Master?
Puppet Master 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And I would just like to say
I
that
don't think they were
Totems in
too-
Puppet Master 4 and 5 looked so
They were
much
cool.
better, and they moved so much better
They moved, yeah.
than the Totems in Totem.
Yeah, I even think there was a part where like the head totem guy was actually in a suit at one point to actually have him move. So I mean, like
They put effort into it. There was a lot of like artistic effort.
you could
and
tell this was
does
pushed
not
out
have
to try to make
the
a quick
effort.
buck, shoot it for cheap, so you make some money.
How much money could they have possibly made? with
I
this
don't
movie?
know. Stay relevant.
So
Or 13 minutes.
normally we wouldn't talk about. I mean, we would talk about the kills, but there is no noticeable.
There
kills
is
I cared
nothing.
about.
I mean,
I
I
didn't
think there was
care.
another movie that there wasn't any good kills. This
Yeah,
one,
I didn't care.
I actually can't even remember how people died. It was that
Just
bad.
did.
They
So
just like they died and like it was nothing that was good.
it wasn't a good movie.
Like that's our big thing. If you have good kills,
Uh,
a movie stays memorable. Even if it's a crappy movie, the kills are cool.
even if it's a bad kill that's like memorable or funny or just unique, this just had nothing. It was the most white bread movie you can come up with.
White bread.
It wasn't a good movie. It wasn't really related to Puppet Master. I don't know why we're reviewing it.
It's definitely in the tier of the like bad ones we've watched.
Yeah, definitely the bottom of the barrel.
Don't think it's like the worst.
No, that's Doll Members Demonic Toys. And
Yeah.
that will always be Doll Members Demonic
Yeah,
Toys.
I could probably definitively say nothing's beating that. This came close.
Yeah.
This was close.
But it wasn't the worst.
The acting. This is a movie that you ask in a month. Hey, did we like? How was Totem? I've never seen that movie before. I don't know what you're talking about. That's gonna happen. Like a month from now, somebody brings it up and be like, "What? I reviewed that movie."
But is someone going to bring this
Oh.
up in a month from now?
Oh, you might.
Well, so that's pretty much it with Totem. We got nothing good to say about it.
Yeah.
It was
Sounds
kinda
like
lame.
the Civil War is getting closer. So
Yeah, so we better scram. So this is the episode 13. Next, in 2 weeks, we'll have episode 14. And we'll be going back to Puppet Master, which is Retro Puppet Master.
good. And this is supposed to be a better one, I've heard,
We'll see.
from what you told me. Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Catch us for Quarantine episode 2 after this.